Thank you so much, dear viewers, wherever you're watching us from. I'm called Arab Daniel, the host of this podcast that we are doing together with our colleagues today in the studio here. And I would like to also say thank you so much in advance for picking this particular time so that you can also pay attention and listen to what we are going to discuss together with this team in this podcast. And this is not just the beginning, but we will keep sailing out from here, and many more are still coming up on the way. And today we are going to talk about one of the most important things that you are also going to listen in the middle of this podcast as we will be moving forward. One thing that you need to know is that South Sudan is a land of many culture, rich tradition, and also beautiful languages. Yet for too long, we haven't noticed the beauty of this, and we remain also divided along the beauty of these tribes. So making us to forget truly what binds us together as South Sudanese, and our shared love for this land, and our dreams of better future, and also our resilience as one people. So today we have a very important topic. That's why today you are seeing this guest with us here in the studio. So we are going to discuss one of the most important things. But before going there, please allow me to give also this opportunity on my left hand side to my colleague to introduce himself. Then we will come to the right far.
Hi there, I'm by the name Aaron Sebit. I would be one of the guests on the podcast. I believe we would have a very meaningful discussion here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe you already know who that is, and he's called Harun Sabit. Harun Sabit. He will be with us here. And on my far extreme right, I also have my colleague here, and I would like to give this opportunity for him to also introduce himself. You're welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone. I'm called Taban David Kilo. I'm so delighted to be also partaking in this very important discussion that will guide us as South Sudanese in the long term and then in the short term. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, back to the point of discussion that we are going to tackle today with you people today. That we are going to discuss is as interesting as it is, and as I said early on, we are going to look at how can we as youth embrace our diversity instead of letting it divide us as South Sudanese, and how can we also celebrate the different tradition while standing together as South Sudanese first. And this is what we are going to discuss, as interesting as it is. And I will begin with my guest on far right hand side, Mr. Kilo, who will be tackling this for us. The question today is, let's talk about this, Mr. Kilo. What makes South Sudan culturally diverse?
Well, thank you once again. I think if I'm to answer that, you see, South Sudan, to me, is like a beautiful craft work, a very beautiful craft work that consists of over different ethnic groups, and each and every single ethnic group contribute a piece of beauty to this craftwork. Different colors, different pattern that brings all together. Like for example, you see from the Dinka cattle keeping and the Nuer cattle keeping, you come to the Siluk spiritual dances, you come to the Azande craftsmanship, the Choli traditional arts, and then you come to the Toposa. All these different spirit, a lot of special things that contribute to this. We don't have differences. We have gifts to share with each other. Our musics, our dances, our language, the treasures, and the weapons. Imagine South Sudan, where all of us embrace this diversity instead of it, bringing fears in our hearts and all this kind of thing. So South Sudan is so diverse that we have a lot, like 64 tribes, 64 different ethnic groups, 64 different beauty. I call it like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Now, can you try to share for us briefly some of the examples of these cultural practice, the traditions, or the languages, that showcase this diversity in South Sudan, as you mentioned?
Yep. Think about it. Look at the Lotuko drum beats. See the Sholi traditional dances. See the beauty, the Dinka jumps and all the jumps coming in. Look at the Dinka wrestling. Look at the the Toposa wrestling. Look at the Modare wrestling and the different cultural things that we have all together, like the wedding songs of the Anuak, the spiritual dances of the Chisuluk. We have a lot of different traditional things, the different cooks, like the different things that we do in the country. We have a lot of beauty that has to really be looked at, and we look at it in different ways. I think we can even explore and talk of it more and more, that some of them I might not know, and some of them, some of the colleagues who are watching this might even know better than me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We are getting a lot of these. Actually, South Sudan with 64 different tribes, one of the most amazing countries in East Africa, as you heard. And allow me also to go to my far extreme right, to Mr. Haron Sebi. We have looked also at the example of some of these, cultural diversity, some of these different traditions, which is being embraced by these 64 tribes in South Sudan. Now, the question that I would like to ask you here is this: like, how has cultural diversity shaped South Sudanese identity over the years that we have been here?
Well, thank you so much for that particular question. Like, when you look at South Sudan before the war, some of us were not there, but as people who grew up with our elders who had been there before the war and before the political division we have as South Sudanese now, we realize that our ancestors were trading with each other. They intermarried, they celebrated together. Like in the past, a Dinka man can come and take refuge in the house of a Nuer guy. And actually could go and take refuge in the house of Elotuko guy. So there was that kind of understanding. We did appreciate our differences. We didn't use our cultural differences to divide us. Now, and also I believe if we could do it in the past, if we were coexisting peacefully, though we were from different cultural backgrounds, still now we can embrace our difference. We can start appreciating our difference and look at it as something that makes us unique. And we use it as a unifying factors. I believe through the years, our cultural diversities have shaped our identity through the loophole of, I would say, hospitality. We were living and coexisting together, though we were having different cultural background. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for elaborating this for us so much and into details, Brother Haron Sebi. And also, we have also to move forward and also try to explore, as I said early on, that the understanding of people is not always the same. The people who understand things from different angles. So what I would like us to implore so much here is that why do other people, struggle so much to appreciate the cultural diversity in the country? And the country I'm talking about here is South Sudan.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I can really give a quick answer to that. As there's a common saying that goes like, if you did not taste food from you only taste food from your mother's house, you will not appreciate the beauty of food in other house. You will think your mom is the best cook. Yeah, this is a similar situation. So many times it's because of the fear of the unknown. People tend to stay within what is familiar to them. That's the problem that we have here in this country. People tend to stay within what is familiar to them. So this makes it really, really very easy to misunderstand others. Yeah. So misinformation and stereotypes really plays a big role in this. We don't know what is somewhere. We do not take time to truly understand other cultures. So if we take time to understand other cultures, we tend to stop making assumptions that will lead to division rather than appreciation. So it's only that we don't really take time to understand other culture. We don't give it attention. And most of the time when we encounter other cultures, instead of paying attention and understanding it, we create stereotypes out of it. We really don't pay attention to it. I think that is what really most of the time makes people to struggle to appreciate the cultural diversity that we have in this country.
Okay. It's okay. Thank you so much, dear viewers. We are still moving forward in this, and I believe we are trying to employ more of this knowledge that we started from the beginning and coming up to this particular time. And one of the motivating factor is also appreciations. When appreciated, people feel what? People feel loved and people feel observed. And appreciation is also one of the bonding factor that unify people together. And when people are united, it's very easy to foster development. Now, the question here is that how does failure to appreciate this cultural diversity affect our unity and the development?